Today, I'm back with some more Naval Strike news for you. We're really hitting home with the news at the moment. There's a lot of information coming out about this DLC. And from the information that we have today, it's fairly obvious that DICE are putting a lot of work into this DLC. We know it's the last DLC that DICE Stockholm are actually going to produce before moving on to other projects. The last two DLCs, Final Stand and Dragon's Teeth, will be made by the DICE LA studio. The first thing that I wanted to show you are 4 map layouts for the maps that will be included in Naval Strike. Now you can see those rolling around at the bottom of the screen for you now. Credit goes to Battle Rush Gaming for finding and hosting these on his website, so there's a link in the description to him. Make sure you go and check out the high resolution versions of these, they're absolutely massive. But really, what I wanted to concentrate on with these pictures is just how much water there is on these maps. DICE really are sticking true to the naval theme here. Predominantly, most of the battles that you're going to have are either going to take place in boats on the water or in vehicles in the air. If we focus on Lost Islands for a second, which incidentally is the map that we've already seen in the tutorial for Carrier Assault mode, you can see that 90% of the map is taken up by water, and there's only a sort of about 10-15% of landmass there. It's good to see some grounds infantry combat still being included in these maps, because it's not going to make it so jarring of an experience that you simply have to be in a boat all the time. You do have the option to go on land, which is a nice touch. Moving on from the map layouts, yesterday DICE released another blog post about the Naval Strike DLC, detailing quite a few things, but mainly focusing on the Levolution aspect that will be included in these new maps. In the blog post, the developers have said that you're going to be seeing a lot more intricate Levolution, something that plays a lot more of a role in changing the gameplay on these maps, much more so than what we've seen in the base game and in China Rising. In the post, they've listed a couple of examples of the things that we can expect, and the two they've listed are the fact that you can close the floodgates to a submarine base on the Wavebreaker map, and you can blow up another part of the plain area on Lost Islands to create some more infantry cover. Now both of these sound like really good ideas, because you're always going to have the Seas of Shanghai Levolution in your head when you think about these kind of things. And as we know, it doesn't really help on that map that the Levolution comes down. It doesn't really do anything apart from make the map flatter and a little bit harder to see. So it's good to hear that DICE have listened to our feedback, and we want these kind of Levolution events to actually play a physical impact on the gameplay. And it looks like we're going to see that in the Naval Strike DLC. Tacking on to the end of that, they also briefly mentioned some of the weather effects that we're going to be seeing in the DLC, and they're not just going to be a carbon copy of Paracel Storm. For example, when you start on Operation Mortar, you're in the middle of a storm. The map is actually lit up by floodlights. Now as the game continues, the storm will start to ease, the sun will come out, and you'll be able to see the beautiful scenery that that map actually has. So all that Levolution sounds really interesting, but the one thing that got me is the Hovercraft. We're going to be able to use it on land and on sea, just how we're supposed to use a Hovercraft. I had a couple of doubts that I thought DICE might not include the sort of land manoeuvres for the Hovercraft, but it's really good to hear that they're going to be including that. And it can make for a quick getaway, because of course you're not going to be able to get away from a massive great attack boat that's got all of these weapons firing at you if you don't have some cover. So you can now fly over the land, whereas the attack boat can't, and you can get away from the enemy. And that just about brings you up to date with all the information you need to know at the moment for the Naval Strike DLC for Battlefield 4. Just a couple of quick things from me. I have something really cool planned for you early next week that includes Naval Strike, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I really do hope you'll like it. And I've now managed to raise enough money to start my own Battlefield 4 server, so thank you for everybody that went over to my G2A link and bought a game. It really did help out. I've managed to get the first month's worth of server rental sort of all sorted out, so I will be setting that up later this weekend, and I'll have the server live for you next week. But that's about it for today, guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure you leave a like on this one so other people can see the information, and make sure you leave all your comments down below about Naval Strike. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.